Within the base of the forebrain is the hypothalamus, a region of the brain that integrates information from the rest of the body and regulates most of the body's endocrine systems. An example of an endocrine system regulated by the hypothalamus is the hypothalamo-pituitary axis. Some neurons within the hypothalamus produce and secrete thyrotropin-releasing hormone, TRH. TRH is secreted into the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal vessels and carried into the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, where it stimulates cells that make thyroid-stimulating hormone, TSH. TRH stimulates the release of TSH from the anterior lobe of the pituitary. TSH enters the bloodstream and is carried to the thyroid gland. At the thyroid gland, TSH stimulates the production and release of thyroxin, a hormone that regulates the metabolic rate of all the cells in the body. In addition to regulating our metabolic rate, thyroxin inhibits the TRH-containing neurons within the hypothalamus. This inhibition results in decreased release of TRH, and thus a decrease in secretion of TSH and thyroxin. This is called a negative feedback loop and occurs frequently in the endocrine system.
Hormone production is controlled by the levels of chemicals and other hormones circulating in the bloodstream. The secretion of hormones by the anterior pituitary gland is controlled by the hypothalamus of the brain and by the hormones secreted by the target glands on which the anterior pituitary hormones themselves act. The hypothalamus releases a hormone which allows the anterior pituitary to secrete its own hormone messenger. This is carried in the blood to its target endocrine gland, which is stimulated to release its hormone into the blood. The circulating target gland hormone, besides acting in the body, feeds back to the pituitary and hypothalamus to inhibit their activity. This allows a balance between the activity of the hypothalamus, the anterior pituitary, and the target gland.
It's Brad Peelon for eat.beat.com, and today I want to talk to you about growth hormone and fat loss. Traditional thinking that became really popular back in the 90s was that when you drop your insulin levels from like 70 or 30 microunits per liter down to fasting levels of like 10, once you got down and your insulin was low, well, your fat would start being released and you start burning fat. To catch up on what's happened in science, we've actually proven this isn't always the case. In fact, what we can show is that you can get insulin all the way down to fasting levels without having any fat being released from your fat stores or burnt. How we did this was with something called a growth hormone releasing hormone antagonist, or something that prevented you from releasing growth hormone. Insulin levels got low. Turns out what you need is as insulin levels go down low, growth hormone levels start to become high. Obviously that would be peaks and valleys. As growth hormone goes up, that's when fat loss starts happening. You actually need an increase in growth hormone to burn fat, not just a decrease in insulin. So the traditional think of, I just have to get my insulin levels low or under control or normalized to burn fat, is actually false. What you need to do is get your insulin low, but also increase your growth hormone levels to burn fat. So I'm Brad Peelon, and that's how growth hormone burns fat.